Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts and successes, you still feel incomplete? Discover how, through this discourse by Sadhguru, you can find the true meaning of your life and free yourself from the traps of the mind. But first, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel so you will always stay updated with the next videos.
What is the real purpose of life? Isn't it amazing that if there is no purpose, you have nothing to achieve? You can just live. However, you want a purpose, and not just any purpose. You want a God-given purpose. This is very dangerous. People who believe they have a God-given purpose are doing the cruelest things on the planet, right or not? They have always done the most atrocious things, because when you have a God-given purpose, life here becomes less important than your purpose. My life is important. Life is important. When I talk about life, I don't mean your family, your job, what you do or don't do, your parties. I'm not talking about that as life. That's life, right? Life is inside you or around you. You are confusing the environment of life with life itself. Your home, your family, your workspace, your party, all of this is the environment of life, not life. Yes or no? You are confusing the environment with the real thing. No, life is important because it is the only thing you know. You know nothing else. Do you know anything else? The rest is all imagined, right? The only thing that is real is that this heart beats and is alive, and that is all that matters. It is of fundamental importance, not you as a person, but you as a piece of life. It is very important because it is the basis of everything. When I say it is the basis of everything, the universe exists for you only because you exist, right? Yes or no? The world exists for you only because you are here, otherwise it would not exist in your experience. So anyway, this is important. So what is the purpose of all this? See, if you had a purpose and you fulfilled it, what would you do next? You would be bored, right? Life is so intricate, so phenomenally complex, that if you spent 10,000 years looking at it intently, you still wouldn't know it completely. If you spent 1,000,000 years looking at it with absolute intent, you still wouldn't know it completely. That's just the way it is. Is there any meaning in all this? The greatest thing about life is that it has no meaning. That is the greatest thing about life, that it has no meaning, and it doesn't need to have any meaning. It is the smallness of the human mind that seeks meaning, because psychologically you will feel disconnected from life if you do not have a purpose and meaning. People are constantly trying to create these false purposes. Two people were once happy and well, then they got married, and now the purpose is the other person. Then they had children, and now they become unhappy with each other. Now the whole purpose of their going through this misery is for the children. So it goes. These are things that you create and maintain as your life purposes. And is there a God-given purpose? What if God doesn't know you exist? No, I'm just asking, maybe. I mean, in this huge cosmos that God is supposed to be the creator and manager of 100 billion galaxies, in all of this tiny planet, suppose he doesn't know you exist, what to do? Possible or not, I'm sorry, I'm saying sacrilegious things, but is it possible or not? What if he does not know that you exist? What if he has no plan for you? Do not seek such things. Creation is made in such a way that creation and creator cannot be separated. You are a piece of creation, and at the same time the source of creation pulsates within you. If you pay a little attention to this life process, you wouldn't need any purpose. It will keep you busy for 1,000,000 years if you want. There are so many amazing things happening right here. If you pay enough attention, 1,000,000 years of existence will keep you busy, or even longer. Now, the need for purpose comes because you are trapped in your mind, not in your true life process. Your mind works with the limited data it has collected, and it revolves on that. At this point, your thoughts and emotions have become more important than your life, right? So because of this, you are looking for a purpose as an escape from the trap that you have built yourself. It is a trap that you have built yourself, and you can easily get out of it. If it was built by someone else, it would be difficult to get out of it, because they would have built it in such a way that you could not get out, right? But because you built it, it's easy to get out of it. The difficulty is that now you identify with the trap, and you like it. You like it because it gives you a certain security and protection and a sense of identity. If you build a cocoon around yourself, you feel safe, but it also imprisons you. Self-protective walls are also self-imprisoning walls. When they protect you, you like them. When they confine you, you don't like them. That's why we have doors, because they protect us, but we have doors so we can open them and get out whenever we want. No matter how beautiful the cocoon is, we still want to get out, right? That's the problem with every trap you build. No matter how beautiful it is, you still want to get out of it. So the psychological wall that you've built that gives you a certain identity, that makes you feel like a person, an individual, that gives you security, you start to see it as a trap. You want to break it. One way to not break it is to find a purpose. Those who find a purpose in their life become so conceited that they will live in their trap forever, thinking they are doing the most fantastic thing. The first thing you need is balance. If you have balance, you can go up. If you don't have balance, it's better to stay on the ground, because it's not safe to go up without balance. It's better to stay close to the ground. The first thing is to establish a balance. Then you can dismantle your psychological structure. Then it is wonderful. If you dismantle your psychological structure without balance, which many people do today, it can be dangerous. Why does someone want to drink alcohol or take drugs? Because it loosens your psychological structure and makes you feel free for a moment. But without the necessary balance, if you have not worked for the balance, you have only achieved freedom. Freedom without balance is destruction, anarchy, isn't it? The first thing is to work towards balance, a huge sense of balance, where even if you dismantle your psychological structure, you can live peacefully. Dismantling your psychological structure is important because it is your trap, your security, your stability, but also your prison. When you dismantle your trap, you also dismantle your security, your sense of purpose, everything that matters to you. This requires balance. Without balance, dismantling all of this will drive you crazy. Don't look for a purpose, because if you look for a purpose, you are looking for madness. If you find one, you are sure to be crazy. Yes, if you think you have found a purpose in life, you are surely crazy, because only crazy people have a purpose, or people with a purpose are crazy in many ways. These are all concepts that you create in your mind and believe to be true. If someone now says, "At this moment, fighting for my country is my purpose. If it is necessary, I will fight, knowing full well that it is a useless, bloody battle," then you will fight only to the extent that it is necessary. If you think that is your purpose, you would want to destroy the entire world for the nonsense you believe in, wouldn't you? If something is necessary, we will do it with full commitment. There is no other purpose. The purpose of life is to live and to live totally. Living totally does not mean partying every night. Living totally means that before you die, every aspect of life has been explored. Nothing has been left unexplored. Yes, before you die, even if you don't explore the cosmos, at least this piece of life you should know in its entirety. This is the least you should do for yourself, isn't it? This is living totally. That you experience all of this, all the dimensions of what is. You leave nothing untouched. If you do only that, it will keep you busy for a long time. That is a good purpose for you. That is the nature of being human. Whatever you lack, you think is the highest thing. Whatever you don't have, it seems like at that moment it's the most important thing. If you don't eat for 2 days, will food become your God? Yes or no? If you don't understand this, try closing your mouth and holding your nose for 2 minutes. Will you ask for air or for God? If God came and asked you, do you want me or air? You would answer, to hell with you, I want to breathe. Because whatever you lack at that moment becomes so important that it overshadows everything else. In other words, when you are in a state of urgent need, you don't see things as they really are, everything becomes exaggerated. If your bladder is full, and I'm talking about enlightenment, will you care? No. At that moment, going to the bathroom seems like the last release. Yes or no? So in every state of urgent need, you do not see things as they really are. Life twists itself to make you think that is the only problem at that moment. Thus, human life goes from one state of urgent need to another, never allowing you that little space to see things as they are. If you don't see life as it is, can you manage it as it should be managed? No, you can't. Because if you don't see things as they are, you can never manage them as they should be managed. Because of this, in many ways, individual lives and societies have become distorted. When I say distorted, I mean normal. I was talking to 18, 19-year-olds in a school. I was talking to about 11, 12 of them, boys and girls. When I asked them what they were going to do next, because they were in the 10th grade, I couldn't believe they were just talking about getting a job and making a living. I couldn't believe it because I've never thought about making a living in my whole life. My father worried, "This boy has no fear in his heart. What will happen to him? Is not being afraid a problem?" He thought fear was the problem. I never thought not being afraid was a problem. According to the dictates of the divine, I should become a doctor, because my father is a doctor. At 10 years old, I told him, no, I will not become a doctor. But every day someone tried to convince me, you have to become a doctor. You have to become a doctor. You know, in an Indian family, you have to become a doctor. Now everyone has moved towards software. I was in Chicago just 8 days ago. An Indian guy asked me, "What do you do? And what else do you do?" That means he's a software engineer. There was a time when if you said, "What else?" you were a doctor. Now if you say, "What else?" it means you are a software engineer. It's not because they are phenomenally interested in human physiology that they became doctors. It's not because they are obsessed with electronics that they became software engineers, but just to make a living. Is it important? I'm not saying it's not important. All I'm saying is that even an ant with a millionth of your brain can make a living. With such a big brain, why does man struggle to make a living? The problem is that you want to be like someone else. That makes you a slave. And once you get into that trap, nothing else is possible. It just keeps you moving endlessly. Now, this simple thing called yoga is not about twisting your body, getting fit, or healthy. All these things nature will do for you if you live in tune with it. Yoga is about understanding the geometry of the cosmos through the geometry of your own system. I call this a geometry because the cosmos is a geometry, right? The planet Earth goes around the sun. What is it? Do you think it is powered by a diesel engine? If it were, the roar of the engine would have killed us. It is only the perfection of the geometry that keeps it going. The entire universe is geometrically perfect. That's why it stays there. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. If you learn to hold your body in a certain way, if the geometry of your body is aligned with the geometry of the rest of creation, suddenly you will find a door that will allow you to download the entire cosmos into you.